Hey everyone, welcome back. Bigelow Reviews here. I am Bigelow, and I have a new video for you. Not a review, really, in a way. I mean, it's a review of the year, but not necessarily in the same way. Who knows? But sorry, I've been gone for about 4 months. I was doing some moving and all that good stuff, so I didn't quite have the time to do it. Yeah, I'm sure you understand. But I miss you guys. I wanted to come out here and give you guys a video. I think I finally have the space under control into a point where I could feel like I could do these a little more regularly. So my New Year's resolution is to do these a little more often. And I know I said that last year, but you know, New Year's resolutions are a thing that people often break. So, but I wanted to come out of the gate swinging and start 2023 off on a good foot by finishing 2022 with my top 10 albums of the year list. And I hope you guys enjoy. Some of these albums I did get to actually review in a long form video, like I talked about previously. During the year I was doing rather well, and then the last 4 months of the year I forgot about it. So we're here. I did listen to these albums. I did listen to them with a critical ear. I didn't really get to write everything down like I usually do in my notebook, but I have the list of my favorite albums of the year right here. And I have it all figured out. We're going to give a little bit of honorable mentions to some albums just because they kind of came out in a weird time, or I didn't get to listen to them as much as I would like to, or they just weren't good enough to be in the top 10. So starting off my honorable mentions, we have Drill Music in Zion by Lupe Fiasco. I thought it was a really great conceptual rap album from Lupe Fiasco, who I didn't realize was actually still making music. It was nice to hear him drop something really good. The album itself, I love. He's talking about kind of like pointing the finger back in his own types of people and the cultural impact of the album. Fantastic. I do recommend it if you like your hip-hop to have a message. Another great rap album on my list, I have Melt My Eyes, See Your Future by Denzel Curry. That one I really debated and kicked rocks about putting in my top 10, but just kind of squeaked out. Great songs on there, but nothing too like memorable, at least. It's a great album, don't get me wrong, and I think even some of the live, I think it's Robert Glasper deluxe version of the album is pretty great too, with the full-blown orchestra. So Denzel Curry's been doing his thing. I really like that one a lot. Kind of a different type of album on this one, but Kingdom Book 1 by Maverick City and Kirk Franklin. I think it was one of the best albums of the year. I don't think it doesn't belong on my top 10 list, I don't believe, but for a gospel album, and it was recorded live in a penitentiary with inmates. The whole thing is just moving and just great music, regardless if you're religious or not. Just beautiful singing, all of those guys, just powerful stuff, man. One of my favorite albums. Another one of my favorites. This one almost like some days it's my top. It's in my top 5, and some days it's literally in my honorable mentions. On this day, it is in my honorable mentions. That is Conway the Machine's "God Don't Make Mistakes." Love this album. Super sad and depressing record. Like Conway the Machine is like in his feels on this one. And just some great songs. One of my favorites is the one about him being stressed out. Everybody's trying to ask him for favors, but like he's going through his own shit and has his own baggage. So it's just an impactful track. One of my favorite songs of the year, honestly. But the rest of that album is just kind of it's just almost too heavy to really listen to in an enjoyable way. Just because, like I said, he just lays it all out there. It's a nuts album. And then this one just has some recency bias. I don't want to put it in the top 10 and then look back on it. But that being said, the more and more I listen to SOS by SZA, the more and more I love this album. When I first listened to it, I was like, nah, not better than Control. And then like the 5th time I listened to it, I'm like, man, it might be better than Control. So it's up there. It's one of my favorites. There's so many great songs on there. Her performances on there are awesome. Maybe at the beginning of the new year, I'll actually drop a full-blown review. I have notes. I wrote them out. So maybe I will put those out there. But that is my honorable mentions. Those are my favorite albums of the year. They didn't quite make the top 10, but here is the top 10 albums of the year. At number 10, I have Ivory by Omar Apollo. I did review this one. I give it a 87. I thought it was great. Some great performances. Kind of a nice, diverse album. Different sounds on it. The Latin feel of Omar Apollo is just different. I really like it for a pop album. Great year for Latin music too. but this one's one of my favorites and more kind of easy to listen to ones as well. Number 9 is Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers by Kendrick Lamar. I did review this album. I gave it a 84. I think it's a great Kendrick Lamar album. I don't think it's better than anything else he's done. It's up there. It's more conceptual and more like heady of a rap album, dealing with like a lot of internal personal things, and I appreciate him for doing it, and I think it's an awesome way to see that he's kind of matured. Not to say he wasn't matured before, but this, like, the music itself has like a more serious tone and not necessarily completely for the masses. So great album, love it. And number 8, like I said earlier, I think it was a great year for like gospel music. I think it was even a better year for R&B music. R&B soul music dropped so many albums that I was like just gushing over. And one of my favorite ones was Candy Drip by Lucky Daye. I gave it an 82, but that album, I think just all the way through, song to song, I think has some of the funkiest, has the best like grooves. Just an enjoyable listen all the way through. I love Lucky Daye's performance on there. Shmino had a few features on it too, and he dropped a great album as well this year. But love that album. Lucky Daye, fantastic. Again, another like funk and soul album. We have a number 7, Gemini Rights by Steve Lacy. I also gave that one an 82. That album also had like one of the songs of the year. Kind of growing on me. The last album he dropped a couple years ago, wasn't too crazy about that, but this one's definitely way more in my wheelhouse. I love it. Super great. And hope you guys liked it too. Like I said, at number 7. At number 6, I have Cave World by Viagra Boys, this like post-punky type band. When I reviewed it, I gave it a 90. It still holds up. It's fantastic. I know Fantano gave it a pretty high score. I think he had it top 5 albums of the year. I think it was number 3. I don't like it that much, but he's more of a punk guy. But it's a great album. I love the idea of, as a society, how we're growing, and some people just sound like a bunch of idiots and they need to leave society and be in a tree and act like a monkey, and they can throw shit at each other there if they like to. And so I love the messaging on it. There's some great songs on there. Love Viagra Boys. I've never really heard of them until now, and I love the album. They came out of the gates just kicking ass. But here we go, our top 5 of the year. We have Love for Rent by Shmino, like I mentioned earlier. I love that album. I didn't get a chance to actually review it full length, but like I said, one of my favorites, and supposedly, according to Apple Music, it was one of my most listened to albums of this year. I think it was just because I was in the middle of doing crap where I wasn't trying to listen and find other music, so I had this album on repeat. It's great. I enjoy it. Even just going back through and listening to it, it's a fun time. I love it. Top 5. At number 4, I have Ramona Park, Broke My Heart by Vince Staples. Again, wasn't able to review it, but Vince Staples really does a great job kind of like sticking to his guns, kind of like these like dusty R&B sample beats. Great live performance too. I saw him in Columbus on my birthday. Shout out to Morgan, take me on that one to go see Tyler. But great album. It's fantastic. I really like the last couple albums that Vince Staples released has been a little more in my wheelhouse, and I think they're just better albums in general. At number 3, I have, well, let me read it so I can make sure I get it right. At number 3, I have Dragon New Mountain, I Believe in You by Big Thief. I have the Big Thief's album at number 3 on the list. I did get a chance to review that album. I gave it an 87. That album is filled. It is a long album, but the variety of country, folk, bluegrass music, all of the genres on this album, they completely just own it, man. They do such a great job. Very great album. Actually, I think it's best consumed on shuffle. I mean, if that matters to you. But I think it's a great album. Every song on there is just so different and so, like, just a wide scope of just great music and diversity. It really paints a picture. I love the way that they can do that. And I just wish the album name wasn't so freaking ridiculous. At number 4, I have Surrender by Maggie Rogers. I freaking love this album. I don't think there's a single song on there that's terrible or not up to snuff. I think every track on there is fantastic, especially for like a alternative pop rock album. You don't really get too many of those nowadays, but it's a freaking kick-ass album. Maggie Rogers sings her heart out on almost every track, and I think she's. I wish more people were talking about how good this album was, because it's not. I don't really see it on a lot of the end of the year lists. Not too many people are talking about it. I think she crushed it. Love the album a lot. And at number one, I'm sure most of you guys who actually are like really dedicated to this channel, I mean, props to you, because I'm not trying to, I haven't been super focused and honed in on it, but if you know, you know, Black Country New Road, number one, Ants From Up There. I gave that thing a 97 at the beginning of the year, and it has not moved. I have not listened to an album that was better than that. Is that fair to compare all the albums that I've listened to this year to that album? Probably not. But you know what? I love it. It's just fantastic. The fact that, at least for me, back-to-back years, album of the year, it's just saying a lot. I know this album's getting a lot of praise on a lot of other markets, just like I was saying Maggie Rogers is not. But Black Country New Road, fantastic. It's a shame the way the band went out with the lead singer leaving, but hopefully they can release some more music and kind of keep with the same trends and styles of music they were making before, because there's nobody out there that are really doing exactly what they're doing. And I love them so much, and hopefully they're still making music and they tour and they come to Ohio and I can see them sometime, so I don't cry ever again from them not touring. Yeah, there you go. Ants From Up There, number one album of the year, Black Country New Road. Hope you guys love it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying subscribed to my channel and all that stuff. Thank you. I really appreciate all the love and support. Yeah, we back, baby. 2023 is going to be our year, guys. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Biggie out.